I would like to echo the sentiment that we would have appreciated it more if it was in the county that was being directly affected. My name is Kelly Westlund, and I am a member of the Ashland City Council. I'm a small business owner. I have lived in Ashland for over 10 years. I came to school at Northland, and I have made this town, it's my town now. This is the community where I live. I've spent the last decade building a home, building a business, and doing what I can to make a positive contribution to my community. And I'm so excited to hear some of these really positive things that have just started to come out about what our alternatives are. My field of focus has been on sustainability for a long time. I used to work for the Alliance for Sustainability. I actually worked with the Office of Energy Independence. I don't know if you're aware, but Ashland and Bayfield counties were part of the Energy Independent Communities pilot project back in 2009. I coordinated that project there. We're already aware of some of these things, and we've been, honestly up there. It's so far away in Madison sometimes that we've had to learn to be self-reliant. We've had to learn to take care of ourselves when people in Madison won't. And that means that we're taking steps that you guys don't even know we're taking, okay? Like the local food systems that some people have been talking about, for the last 2 years, I've been doing a lot of work with that. We have small family farms that have pooled their resources so that they can offer products that nobody else can. They're feeding people good local food, and we're exporting it out of the region. And in the last 3 years, the growth has been astronomical. It's unreal. The agriculture there is something that depends on clean water. A number of the farms that contribute to our farmers cooperative are within the watershed, very, very close to the mining site. Several of them are organic farms. They're certified organic. If there's something wrong with their water, that ruins the business they've spent the last 2 to 3 decades building, because they can't undo that. They can't change anything about that. Yes, that's all I have time for.
Thank you. We'll have questions. Representative Clark.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks for making the trip down. So as a 10-year resident of Ashland, I'm I guess interested in your take on what really drives economic development. You talked about that a little bit. I've sat in sessions listening to economic development people from Wisconsin or Michigan talk about what they do to rebuild communities when major employers have left. And I hear things like, you got to invest in good schools. You got to invest in good infrastructure. It's got to be clean air and water. There's some fundamentals that attract people to want to live in a community that then attracts employers that want to hire those people. Is that the kind of model that drives Ashland?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but the natural step, it's a framework for making decisions in a way that promotes sustainability, and Madison is an eco-municipality. You may be surprised to learn that Washburn is actually the first one in this country, and Ashland was the second. We have 5 eco-municipalities around the Chequamegon Bay area. And we, one of those things, one of the 4 basic concepts of that is that you don't keep taking things out of the Earth's crust. You don't change the landscape in ways that it can't recover. And we have, this was 10 years ago that we adopted this resolution. And we've taken that as the lens for some of these movements forward. Recently, Northland College and the Ashland Area Economic Development Corporation and a whole number of other groups, the Ashland Business Alliance, they've been working together in community forums, and they've come up with a plan called Ashland Thriving. And it's something where they've actually got a plan for the steps that we're going to take to move forward. A lot of it is about incubating homegrown businesses. A lot of it is about, I think, one sector that is really, really overlooked often, and I fall into this group, is people who are independent entrepreneurs, where we work from home. I have been self-employed for over 3 years. I don't go to an office. Nobody's counting me, but I still have a comfortable living. My husband's been employed there, and I feel like Ashland has so much potential, and they're on the verge of flourishing. And this is something that just throws a wrench in the works. It's something that, a lot of these, you've heard a lot of Northland students today, and I think the college is one of the great economic anchors of our region. And it brings people to the area, and then they get to, honestly, I invite you, please come. If you've been, you love it, and you want to come back. And that's why so many of us decide to stay there and build our homes and families there. And we're all making positive contributions. I hope that I answered your question.
You did. Would you, the Ashland Thriving, that sounds very intriguing. Would you be willing to send any information you have from that group to our committee?
Sure.
Thank you.
Representative Bernard Shaver.
Thank you. Representative Clark asked my second question, so I ask you another question. As a city council person who has connections to other city council people in the area, have you been able to work with people from the Hurley area and from the other county that's impacted with this, that will be impacted by the mine?
The really frustrating way about this whole process and the way that this bill has come through in the various iterations and just how contentious it's become, it's really divided our community. I would say that Ashland, for the most part, is not in favor of a mine, but even those who are in favor of the mine do not like this legislation. It's heinous. It is not something that protects our right to to safe water. And Hurley, they are in a different economic situation. I heard somebody say that it was like light and day going between Ashland and Hurley. And yeah, they've had tougher times than we have. But I think that we would be more than open to having a discussion about how we can work together to build our regional economy without doing something so destructive. I guess there have been a few times where we've tried to kind of cross that line, but the way that the state government, our legislature, has just brought this bill in and completely, they want to show how desperate Hurley is, but they leave Ashland completely out of the picture. It's created this super divisive situation. It's not doing any of us any good.
I have just a follow-up on the natural step program that you talked about. I seem to remember a former mayor of Ashland was very actively involved in getting the natural step program up and running in Ashland. Do you know if he also worked with the businesses? Because there's two books for the natural step. There's natural step for communities and there's natural step for businesses.
I'm glad you asked that question. When they were doing some of that work, that was the organization I worked for at the Alliance for Sustainability. And we introduced a pilot program called the Green Team Network of Early Adopters of Sustainability. Our names are way too long, I know. But it was a group at that point of 18 different businesses, and it was across sectors. There was manufacturing, hospitals, restaurants, schools, medical facilities. And we would have regular meetings called sharing sessions where we would talk about things that we could do to decrease negative impacts on the environment that would occur in our everyday operating, day-to-day business. And we'd get together and we'd say, have you tried doing this? This is the problem we're running into. Oh, we tried that and that worked out really well. And we would find solutions together. We would help each other make connections. We would refer each other to different resources. It was a grant-funded program over 3 years. And it's something that has now been replicated throughout the country. And it's something that has helped a number of our businesses save on their operating costs, reduce their waste stream, save on their energy costs. It's been a great thing, and I think it's something that there's a lot of potential to build on.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Charles Ortman, Ashland, speaking against.
I'll try not to pass out on my feet.